when you talk about Benny's family roots, his southern roots, etc., you have to incorporate folklore into what it means for Benny to tell a story.
Phases talk to me too. I get my pain started, and this phase here is telling me something too, and it gets to be kind of like a communication. I look in the face and I slowly start feeling what this person is supposed to be doing, and it guides me some. In my studio, I talk to myself sometime, I turn my music on. I came from a family of dreamers, and all of us, all my brothers and sisters drew because my father did, and like I've been drawing and painting ever since I can remember. They say I started when I was about 2 years old.
My name's Kyle Baker, and I'm a cartoonist. I work on the Rugrats newspaper strip, and I've worked on Batman and Superman and Spider-Man and gosh, everything. I've been doing this for 20 years. I started as an intern in high school. When I was in high school, they gave you a choice. You had to either get a job, internship, working for free, or take more classes to graduate. And so you give a guy a choice between going to school and getting out of school. What would you do? So I got an internship at Marvel Comics. I would try and show my drawings to all the cartoonists that would come by and get their advice and stuff like that. And then I started working for some of them as their assistant, drawing I used to draw, my first job was drawing the backgrounds on Spider-Man. You know, when Spider-Man's jumping on all those buildings and stuff, I'm the poor slob that had to draw all the little buildings and all the little windows, and some other guy got to draw Spider-Man. I had originally planned to talk about my sordid and hilarious past, bringing us up to the present moment and detailing my plan for the future yet to come. After writing and rehearsing this piece for a week, I realized there would not be enough time in this 10 minutes I chose to allot myself to include the past, present, and future. I chose a 10-minute time limit because I believe that actually exceeds today's internet attention span. I chose as the title for this piece, "The Care of the Future is Mine," because that is the theme of today's program. Since this new paradigm does not allow room for past, present, and future to coexist, I find no better moment than now to let go of the past, embrace the present, and prepare us all for my vision of the future. I am a cartoonist. I've helped create many award-winning and/or financially lucrative properties for corporations such as Disney, Warner Brothers, Viacom, and others. In the 1980s, I, alongside many of my peers in the comic book industry, such as Eisner, Miller, Spiegelman, and many others, helped develop what is now known as the graphic novel format. I've been an innovator in bringing digital technology to comic book production with pioneering breakthroughs in computer lettering and coloring, and currently employ experiments in 3D technology, motion comics, apps, and the like. I am not claiming sole credit for any of these changes I helped introduce. The cartooning community is a family, and we exchange discoveries and inspire each other by doing work that we love. And over the past decades, we have brought about many changes in how the cartooning medium is perceived by the world at large. My graphic novel, Nat Turner, was designed to change not only the way people perceive a controversial historic event, it also changed the way educators view the possibilities of the use of graphic novels in classrooms. It is now part of the curriculum of many universities. I've been profiled in the Wall Street Journal and praised by the New York Times. I've been and continue to be an outspoken advocate for the rights of creative artists and have helped change and shape the nature of cartoonist contracts and the way we do business with the entertainment corporations. The publisher of DC Comics once ordered one of my stories recalled, had every printed copy removed from bookshelves and destroyed, only to see that story win an Eisner Award for Best Short Story of the Year. DC published it in hardcover soon after. I have been instrumental in changing the way cartooning is done, the way the cartoon business is run, and the way cartoons interact with and affect the world, and I will continue to do so for decades to come. I am not telling you any of this to pump myself up. Rather, I hope to explain why a cartoonist you've probably never heard of now stands before you and expects you to give a damn about what I say. Enough about the past for now. I am also a father to 4 wonderful children. They currently reside with their mother in a Manhattan apartment. They attend private school and are well provided for financially by a father who loves them dearly. Since the 1st of September, I spend my days working on a laptop at the YMCA, where I draw a monthly comic book for Marvel Comics, the world's foremost publisher of comic books. My comic features one of Marvel's most popular characters named Deadpool, who is one of the X-Men. I have held this job for over a year. When my contract came up for negotiation earlier this year, I was offered a pay cut, and my monthly page count was reduced by 2. At the same time, my child support payment was increased by the court. To compensate, I have taken on other work for other smaller publishers in addition to my monthly Marvel book. To help with the added work, I have hired an assistant named Mindy Steffen, who receives about a quarter of my pay. Rather, I owe her a quarter of my pay. She gets paid when I do. So here I am, head of a virtual cartoon studio with 1 employee, a steady paycheck, healthy, safe children, and a bunch of great new cartoons in the works, ready to be released next year. This is the present day. The care of the future is mine. Let's talk about the future. When my next paycheck comes, I will invest in a solar-powered generator. It is the kind which the Army uses when stationed in lands which have no power. For only $2,000, I will have a limitless free power source to run the 3 computers which I use to make animated cartoons and comic books. I will continue to employ my worker, Mindy. We communicate via email and Skype, and transfer work electronically using free online services such as Dropbox, YouSendIt, and Gmail. So we'll keep making money for the 7 people I am currently financially responsible for. So now I'm free to work in peace and feed my family. Let's take a look at what kinds of jobs are available to me. As I've said, the entertainment corporations which employ me are cutting everyone's pay with the threat that if we don't comply, the few jobs that remain available will be outsourced like everything else. So we'd better take this rotten deal and hope we won't get another pay cut, right? I'm sure they won't try the same thing again next year, right? Here's the thing. A few years ago, I published a few of my own books through my own company. I didn't get rich, but the books were profitable. Here's the secret to making profits. Spend less than you make. I've been in the business for decades. I can predict how many units I will sell at a certain price, budget accordingly, and make a profit. Obviously, I can't move as much product as the big corporations. But when I do the math, I find that since the corporations are only paying me a few thousand per job, I can make the exact same amount of money by producing and distributing my own work, and while I'm selling less units, I get 100% of the profits. I did it before, and I stopped because my marriage was collapsing. I hoped that if I got a steady job at Marvel and gave up my other businesses, my wife would take me back. Since that plan failed, I can get on with my life and business. I will be free to travel, selling my work through public appearances at comic book conventions, film festivals, and whatever bookstores still remain open. I will utilize new technology to sell my work online in downloadable formats. I will still work with the big corporations. I have plenty of equity and connections at Disney and Warner's. But here's a story. When I was 40, I got my first job on a Disney cartoon, Phineas and Ferb. For me, it was the achievement of a lifelong dream. I was thrilled as I walked onto the studio lot. Here I am. I finally made it. After 40 years, I'm finally a Disney cartoonist. As I strutted across the grounds to my new office, the heads of every cartoonist in sight turned my way. Look, it's Kyle Baker. Oh my God, can I have your autograph? What are you doing here? I said, I've made a terrible mistake. See, by cutting budgets, cutting pay, and outsourcing, the corporations have driven production costs so low that even I can afford to outsource my next cartoon to India. I literally make 50 times what an Indian animator makes. I've done the math. I could hire 50 Indians. And the American corporations have screwed the domestic talent so hard that every artist, writer, actor, and musician is in the same boat I'm in. I can offer these people a better deal than they're currently getting, or else I'll send those jobs overseas where many governments offer subsidies to American outsourcers. I've done the research. It will work. It already is working. I can set up a tax-free corporation in the Bahamas, outsource to Trinidad, get a government subsidy, and bank in the Caymans, and it's all legal. Ask Enron. Ask the failed banks, which got $1 trillion bailout. The system is working. Do you know what the secret to Walt Disney's success was? Besides imagination, talent, and hard work. Disney capitalized on the worst economic depression in history by hiring the most talented people in the country for pennies. He did it by offering more than people could get anywhere else. He offered professional training and opportunities for advancement. He excited his workers by showing them how they were part of something new and wonderful that they could get in on the ground floor of. He enticed people to follow him by using his imagination and powers of persuasion to help others see his magical vision of a glorious future. And he did all this while on the verge of bankruptcy. The bank foreclosed on the first animated feature film, Snow White, in the middle of production. Okay, the man was a union buster, but I'm in 2 unions, and where did it get me? Where did it get you? I can work with other artists like myself to create a better way to care for our families. We don't have to be slaves. Cartoonists, you know who I am, and you know that I know what I'm talking about, and I can and will do this. I communicate and learn from independent, creator-friendly publishers like Image Comics, and independent Oscar-nominated filmmakers like Bill Plympton. There are precedents. This is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, together we can create a new era of entertainment where people create the best cartoons ever, and the talented folks that create them will be fairly compensated. I've done it before alone, and I'm going to do it again with whoever wants to follow. The care of the future is mine. Thank you all, and stay tuned. And thank you all for coming out.